Hey everybody, and welcome to Shaking the Dance Table, new mini segment called Blacklight, where we're highlighting black creatives around, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves. And this week we're going to talk about black actors. So, hey everybody, let's go around and introduce ourselves, starting with Daisean.
Oh, hi everybody. My name is Daisean Garrett. I am an actor. I've been doing this, well, I like to say all my life, but professionally, probably about 4 or 5 years. Currently in a show called Choir Boy at the moment at BBRTC and VFT's collaborative production. Yeah, and that's pretty much who I am.
Hey, I'm Rodney, Fomby, act as well, but singing is my first love. I can't really put a number on how long I've been doing this, but currently in the same show as well as my castmate, Daisean.
Hello, I'm Terrance, Campbell. I'm also an actor, more of a triple threat, actor, singer, dancer. But yeah, I've been doing this for a while, all my life basically, and I'm also in Choir Boy with these other characters.
Hello, I'm Trevon. Last name is Lee. I've been doing this for 8 years, I guess. Started in high school, and well, now I'm here, and I'm glad to be blessed by the presence of these opportunities.
Yes, me as well. So, let me ask y'all, we're just going to get into like a little bit of what you guys do and just really about the acting industry and being a black male actor as well. So, I'm just going to ask y'all a few questions and stuff. So, tell me, what is one of your favorite projects that you've done just as an actor and why? Anybody can go.
Well, I guess my favorite project I've been a part of, I did 2 short films that I wrote and directed about my struggle with depression and anxiety. So that was something that I'm very proud of.
Oh, very cool.
Sanity and Sanity too.
Okay.
I was able to do that. As a matter of fact, it came out of, I was fresh out of college and still battling with my depression. And my line brother actually was like, you need to write something about that. And I sat down and picked up an old project I was working on and revamped it and was able to shoot that. So I'm proud of it.
Can we find that anywhere?
Yes, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's on my Facebook page. Rodney Fomby McKinney is on Layden Avenue Productions, which is on Facebook as well, YouTube, everywhere.
I guess my favorite production or favorite thing that I've been a part of was this film called Hallways, which admittedly is what, you know. It was fun because I was playing the antagonist, and in that I was kind of crazy person, kind of a schizophrenic, and I've done that before in a role in hospital. And what made it so fun to me was the fact that I was able to tap into that, and I was able to kind of really bring that to life. And you can find that on YouTube. So,
For me, first I want to say I did a production of Memphis at Red Theater Company here in Birmingham, and that was a phenomenal production for me. I don't know, it just resonated with me in so many different ways. And also, I co-wrote and co-directed a piece called Being Black in America with this lovely lady right here. You can also find that. You can find the trailer on YouTube. I mean the actual little short clip is actually on YouTube. It's just not live at the moment. But yeah, and that was a pretty good process for me. I don't know, I think it's stepping on the other side of the table was a fun thing to do as a writer and as a director. It was pretty awesome.
Well, for me, it was probably like the 12th night this for Shakespeare. I'm not very good at Shakespeare, but the experience of learning Shakespeare, I did an internship in Orlando, Florida at the Orlando Shakespeare Theater, and that show really brought out the actor in me because I was able to dig deep into Shakespeare as a black actor. This is a thing where it was an all-male cast. It was done originally, the original dialect. It was an outside theater, like it was everything. So that's probably my best show that I've done because it opened my eyes to Shakespeare, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's a learning experience. But it was a great experience.
That's great. Okay, so what are some of y'all like greatest inspirations as actors, and why?
Okay, so I guess for me it would be because I didn't really know that I wanted to do this. I didn't know that at all in high school, but my friend or classmate rather, they pretty much asked me to audition. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll audition. And as like growing up, I kind of, in terms of like film as well as theater, I kind of pictured them as the same thing. And I always would rehearse scenarios in my head of pretty much like how I would play a role or play how I would do something. I guess my biggest inspiration would be Denzel. The reason I say that is because of the fact that he pretty much, you can see in all of his films that he brings a piece of himself in there. And while I don't like doing that, I still think that it's good because like that's a piece of you there. But whenever I'm performing, as crazy as it is, I find myself like trying to shed my I don't want to say like skin, but shed everything that I have, like rubber bands or glass or anything like that, just so I can become that character. And even when I do that, I still feel like there's a piece of me there. That's really why I love it as an actor.
I think my biggest inspiration would have to be Meryl Streep, honestly. And I know that's a white woman. But I mean, I love her. I'm sorry, but I love her. And I think why is because I haven't seen a role yet that has conquered that lady. And, you know, if I ever get the opportunity to just ask her, like, what do you do? What is your process? Because I think that the one thing that I think that she does is she allows the character to become her. Like, this is not a character, this is Meryl Streep. And you know what I mean? Like, whoever she's playing, it is Meryl Streep that's playing it. It's not you feel what I'm saying? And I think that that's a service that I would like to do to any role that I take on in this industry. You know, because it's a service to the people who are watching it, to the audience, to my counterparts, the people that I have to work with. Yeah. And I just, you know, I think that there is just a phenomenal thing about someone who can come into the process and they can make something their own. And, you know, it's so believable because as an actor, and when I got into it very heavy, I began to find myself paying attention to the acting on the television more so than the storyline. And it's very hard for me to take myself away from that. But when I watch her, although I'm still paying attention to the acting, it takes me out of that realm, and I'm actually watching the storyline because she's doing the job so damn well.
I actually have two. Both one of them, Whoopi Goldberg and Felicia Rashad.
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg, primarily because this woman plays so many different characters, and no two of them are the same. Like, you don't see Dolores Van Cartier in Celie. You don't see Celie and her character from Ghostlight. She diversifies herself with each role that she plays, and I love to watch her work from the small screen to the big screen, and how she sinks her teeth into whatever it is that she's doing. And Felicia Rashad, simply because she's Felicia Rashad, like she is who she is, and from anything that she does, like anytime I see her on screen, and I haven't had the chance to see her on stage yet, but anytime I see her on screen, it's like a breath of fresh air. I just want to inhale whenever I see her, because her level of professionalism and dedication and just love for what she's doing just radiates through everything that she does. And one thing I love about her is her eyes. When she's in the scene and when she's really in it, but you can see how she connects with the character in her eyes. You don't see Felicia, you see whoever she is in that moment. And I love to watch both of them work.
You can tell that she's good.
Yes. Yes. I mean, everything.
Another one, she is
her. Like, she's my fan. So.
Well, for me, it would probably be Viola Davis and Patty LaPone. For me, I'm a musical theater guru, and like musical theater for me is like my livelihood. I love to sing, love to dance, anything about it. Yeah. Right. But I feel like those two people, Viola Davis and Patti LuPone, like the divas when it comes to creating a character or being dedicated to a role, stripping themselves from making everything and just like bringing themselves to the character at all times. And those are my two favorites.
So you mentioned this actually a little bit, talking about like process. So what is y'all's like? What's something that you have to do as part of your process whenever you're like assigned a new role or like you're starting a new process, like a different process?
Shit, I ain't got no process. And honestly, I'll be quite frank with you. I think that one of the biggest hurdles that I have encountered in my life, not just in this profession, is laziness and being lazy with doing things. And I think that, you know, I like to consider myself a very, very good actor, but I think that I could be so much better if I actually took the time out to actually do the work long before, you know, ahead of time. And I think that's just one of the hurdles that I'm still yet to overcome. I'm still trying to get over it. You know, I keep falling every time I get to it. But I think, though, also to that degree, a part of my process is being in the space. I will say that much. Being in the space with people and then knowing what it is. And there has been times where I've actually did the work beforehand, and so much stuff actually came to me about the character, and then I began to understand how other people have gotten to from point A to point B. You know what I mean? Instead of staying at the surface, which is because just like, you know, we don't get the opportunity to go to a place, clock in, and that's when our job starts. Our job starts as soon as we get an offer to be in something and we make the decision, yes, I will be in this, your production or whatever it is. And I think for that particular, that's where the process starts, and that is when you have clocked in. I do say this, if it's something that's going to help me become help the character become me, I will indulge in it a little bit, but I'm not necessarily a method actor, because I do believe that once I leave the space, that is where I'm leaving this character, because it's not going to be a part of who I am, because, you know, some things I know some people have lost their lives to being method actors, and it has been extremely heavy for them. But I think that you know, my biggest hurdle is overcoming laziness and just saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll learn it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. And and that's just for me, that's one of the part of my process.
Well, for me, I feel like I'm with Daisean on this, that I don't necessarily have a process. When I'm in the space, I'm in there, and when the lights come off, that's when I actually become who I need to become. Yes, it takes like directing notes and whatnot, but for me personally, I think that it's also overcoming laziness. I think that's something with this generation, you know what I mean, that we have to overcome laziness. We have to overcome procrastination. It's because we have everything at our fingertips, you know. And I've honestly, from the productions that I've been in, the reason that I don't, I guess, do the work beforehand is because I feel like these characters are innately me. You know what I mean? We're like, sure, we strip away, you know, we drop who we are as a person, but the reason that we're able to become these characters is because they are us. And I think that I think for me that kind of says something, you know, and the reason I say that is because if we are innately these characters, kind of, I don't want to, this is going to sound really crazy, but why do we need to practice and study? But in the same vein, I also feel like we need that because we want to dig deeper, you know, we want to really have that character almost, in a sense, become our spirit, if that makes any sense. Like, we want that character to be an extension of us. So I think I have the same problem as Daisean, but at the same time, I feel like all the characters that I played, even Unsung, these characters are me, you know, and that's just that.
Well, for me, like, I'm not saying I'm a procrastinator or lazy, but I have to prepare, because for me as an actor, like, I need to know what's going on. But most of my energy comes from the other person. So when I get into the room with everybody else, I kind of see how I shift into those characters or the people around me. Because for me, I'm not a method actor, but I'm more of I basically like off energy.
Yeah.
And so when energy is like low, I'm like, okay, so let's try to shift this, and like basically I shift myself to where everybody else is. But when it's time to play, I like to try different things and see what works and what doesn't work. But for me, I'm more of an energy type person around everybody else to see how I really do my preparation. I have to be prepared though. I have to.
Yeah, I'm the same way. For me, first thing I do, of course, is try to get off the book as quick as I can, learn my lines so I know what I'm saying. After I break the scenes down, all of that is the groundwork. But like you said, the bulk of it for me is getting in the space with the other actors and getting in the room and establishing the world that we're going to be in. Because it's one thing to try to get a grasp of the character by yourself, but all of that can change when you get with somebody. When you bump your understanding of the text up against their understanding of the text, the way that their character interprets what they're saying versus the way that I'm interpreting what I'm saying and what I'm taking. Because it's easy for me to learn my cue lines, but inflections are different, energy is different, color, like how they're saying, all of that is different. So learning how to create the world together is mine. And one thing that I kind of struggle with is time management. I'm not a procrastinator, but I'm a procrastinator, if that makes sense.
That's not
because I always think I have more time than I do, and when you try to juggle everything at one time, you're like, oh, okay. It's kind of like I rented this in undergrad. The paper's due in April, it's January. Oh, okay, I'm gonna do this, and it's every bit of okay. I'm gonna take this much time off every day to make sure I study for the paper. Next thing I know, it's for the papers due, and I didn't do any of that. So it's like, okay, now I'm up late. Like, all right, what's going on? But when I seen a meme on Facebook, it was like one of the reasons why I'm such a bad procrastinator is because I always get it done. It's like if I ever failed getting it done, maybe that would change. But I wait and then I do it, and it happens, and then it's like. But then I'm like. What Daisean said is like, maybe what if I took time out a long time ago to give myself that time instead of doing everything
like of course I'm going to succeed, but imagine how much farther I would.
But it seems like I kind of thrive off that adrenaline rush. Like, oh, okay, I gotta get it.
That pressure helps you perform better. I'm a procrastinator too.
I'm like, I don't want to deal with it until the very last minute too, because some stuff is just like,
and I want to try to keep it fresh too, because you don't want to. You don't want to burn yourself out on the material. For sure. Because I was looking at Denzel Washington and Viola Davis when they did Vences.
Yeah.
They rehearsed maybe, I want to say 2-3 weeks. And he was like, we don't want to over-rehearse. We want everything to be authentic when we get on the set. Like, I don't want us to get used to how we going to say it and blocking and stuff. He was like, I want us to rehearse what we know, but we want everything new and fresh when we get on the set. So they didn't rehearse a lot. They wanted everything fresh. So.
And I think what you're saying, I think the biggest thing is finding the middle ground, especially with the cast and both Carboy having an ensemble and also knowing what everybody else is going to say.
So, what are some challenges that y'all come across as Black actors specifically within this industry?
Well, for me, it's my size. I feel like with me being a bigger guy, when you see these other actors that's bulked up and it's like, well, I don't think I fit in there, or like, oh, they gotta look at me because of my body type. But for me, I move for a big world.
Come on,
period.
Amen.
You know what? Number one, being Black is that's a big obstacle, and I'm glad you said that. But I think that it is so monotonous, the process that casting directors go through when they're casting the show. And I think that, I get the thing often, like, if you have a low haircut and once you will get cast more, that we have your type, to every forgive me for saying this, but to every 20 white people, there's one Black person for a particular role. So it's just like there are 100 what am I trying to say? Forgive me, I lost my train of thought. But like, there's many movies out there where there's one role for a Black guy, and legitimately,
everybody goes.
Like, you know, you have 100 people going, and Todd Bridges said this. He said being a black actor in LA is the worst thing, because there's one role for a black man and there's 100 men that's coming in there for the exact same role. And I think, you know, and a lot of the times I think they say that, well, it's traditional and this is the way that it's supposed to be, but it's just like break the norms. And in film we have a little more leeway, but in theater, no. It's you know, it's colorblind casting, so they say, when they put you in a role that was not written for you. And the roles that were written for us are these submissive roles where we are playing the butler, the maid, stuff like that. So you know what I mean? And I think for that particular reason, it's very tough being in this industry. And what it does is, I think it pits us against each other. Just because, not because we want to, it just happens because it's just like, well, there's 6 of us black men that are friends, and all 6 of us go in here for this role, and they choose one over us. I mean, we are not in control of our emotions, so we're like, you know, of course we're gonna be happy, but at the same time, something may spark up, and you may be like, well, you know what I mean? And I think that's just one of the hardest things for me, and I think, you know, remaining humble and just continually praying and keeping God first, and just knowing what's for you is for you. And I think that's, for me, it's something that you have to grasp when you are in this profession and when you're in this industry, because it will not wait for you to get your emotions under control. It's not going to wait for you to humble yourself and to say whatever it is you need to say to yourself, or whatever rituals or whatever you do. It is not going to wait on you. It will leave you in the dust until you figure out whatever it is that you have to figure out.
Yeah. I literally agree with everything that you said, and I think for film, especially for the big films, you know, you just had the MCU and you just had Black Panther. Right? And I was actually looking at somebody, somebody said this, that pretty much the kind of Black MCU films have kind of left us in the dust. And I kind of agree with it, but there's a plethora of black comings, right? You have Miles Morales, you have the new Iron Man, who is actually a woman who is also black, and you have all these different things that can come up, right? But at the same time, in theater, I think it's different. And the reason I say that is because theater, you have a lot of plays, but a lot of the plays are also Caucasian plays, right? They're white plays, right? And like you said, there's a place for like one black actor, but even still, film is there's a lot more leeway versus like theater, which these plays have already been established. You know, you have Vences, but that's a black play. A Race in the Sun, it's a black play. For Color Girls, black play. You know what I mean? It's specific.
On the back end of it, black people in film get paid a lot less. Black Panther was one of the highest grossing movies of the year.
Yep.
And legitimately, when I look at the salaries of every last one of those actors, I was baffled. I was baffled.
It's crazy. Black women get paid even more less than, you know,
I was baffled.
men.
So, and I think, you know, and it's just a matter of like, okay, we have to be appreciative for getting a spot at the table. But now that we have this spot at the table, we only gonna get a third of this bread, when all the other people gonna split the rest of it. And it's a situation where it's, if I say, well, can I get a little bit more of this bread? I'm ungrateful. I don't appreciate nothing. You should appreciate this because you're a black person and I gave you an opportunity, and I think that comes across a lot. So, you know,
see, to that effect, one thing that I'm loving in this shifting of media with movies and TV and theater is the fact that I think a lot of us are no longer really caring for a seat at the table. We would like to see at the table, but if the seat at the table doesn't come, we've already started construction on our own table. But one thing that I want to make sure that we do is remember the feelings of not being able to sit at that table. When somebody is trying to sit at ours, when one of us is trying to come to our own table.
Precisely, and in that, I think that what happens is we have a lot of people putting a lot of small tables in our, in this color, and once that table starts to get bigger, it's like, we don't got no room for you either. Yeah. So, you know, and it happens too often in this profession, and it's saddening to see that it's just like, okay, well, you know, we all fight for the same thing, and we fought to get to get a seat there, and now that you are in the same position, it's like, no thanks. You have to look a specific type of way, or you have to be a specific type of person. You have to do this, you know what I'm saying? We want people that are, we want just this type of, and I'm like, okay.
And I think in that, piggybacking off of what I said, that you can see Jordan Peele doing the same thing, you know, creating his own table. You know, you have growners, you have mixes, you have blackish, you have all this stuff, and then not to mention you have Get Out and Us. You know what I mean? It's like,
Who did the casting for Mixage, though?
I don't know. Let's,
no
you
idea.
know,
Yeah, we could discuss.
you know, like,
I just want to wonder how
Did
did you have a
last-minute
comment on?
decision.
I'm sorry, because
how did
Anna DeVere Smith
Become
I think it was the last
Yeah.
minute thing because also they have been saying,
hell, they could let Rainbow play her own mama.
well, you know, they've been saying that he doesn't cast a lot of darker skinned people. Like they said those comments in like Grownish or whatever. Like there's not a lot of dark skinned friends. So I think that was kind of like a we took into consideration
Bo
kind of
could have
maybe
had
don't
a
put this
dark
like
skinned
dark.
cousin that she stayed with because you
Thank you.
you've
The role
already
was already cast.
Right, you've already introduced her mother on
Anna
Grownish.
DeVere Smith don't even look like the type of person
Continuity.
that actually gets older and gets lighter. You know, it happens,
Yeah.
but not
Not
that
for
light.
like-
you know,
Another nationality.
and I love Tika Sumpter. Tika Sumpter is my soror. She my fam.
And
You know,
it's
like
the
I love her. I love her. But at the same time, Tika baby, I don't. You know,
That
It's
doesn't
a
have the same
disservice to
energy to me,
and it's a disservice to the
It
actual
is.
piece
Right.
because
Yeah.
now that's what we're
they
focused
could have
on.
got
And-
Cree Summers to play
and
Bo's mother.
Or Rachel True.
I think I was.
They could have got Zoe Kravitz.
I was actually. I think another big problem is the fact that they're choosing looks over actual talent. You know. And
Well, that is running rapid in
that's a good-
theater,
that's
film,
good.
because I think it's something you said a minute ago is that
relationship.
something that something you said a minute ago rang that in my ears, just like when you said that we get this role because we are the character. Well, there are a lot of people who are getting it because of the
They look-
amount
they
of
look the
revenue.
character.
Well, the amount of revenue they can pull
Like-
in the audience. If I got 6 million followers, I can guarantee you
Literally.
I can get cast in
That-
just
bro,
about
that
anything
makes-
that I want to get cast
that
in.
makes
That's
me
because
so
that-
mad.
that's
It's
how
like
Even with the
you're going over
audience.
sales versus like actual talent,
And
and that pisses me off.
Well, that's because
And I
people
think
want their
even
tables
with
to get bigger.
audience and everything, it goes into like what y'all were saying about that one person being, you know, the black person in like theater and stuff like that. They think about their audience being a whole bunch of old white people, so they're like, I don't want to like put too many black people in this. So let me
True.
throw one in there
So,
and show
and
y'all
then
they
too,
got some
because
talent.
something that I saw is they'll put black people in there, and then they'll keep putting them in shows so that those audience will get familiar to that
Right,
person.
to
It's
that
like,
one.
well, this person is in there
The
because it's
chosen
really
one.
a step that you dance.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
But it's the same way for Chicago on the musical. It's been the longest running Broadway musical ever, and they bring these black actors in. They can get money, but they're so bad.
Oh yeah, because like
Horrible.
they had
Nene Leeds, Candy, they can't sing. They everybody.
Wendy Williams.
Let's move on to the next
They
question.
had all these people in this, and you can leave Candy alone, man. You can leave the
She's a
Candy
good
alone.
I
writer.
love Candy.
She's a good writer.
I know.
She's a phenomenal writer.
You're right.
Phenomenal
She
writer.
gets the heart down and
Girl, I love the girl.
we gonna keep on over. We gonna
Love the girl.
Campbell.
She's a beautiful writer in all aspects of it, but
She got coin.
that was not.
I love you, Candy.
Yeah, we love you.
Oh my god.
She's
this
cool.
makes me so
Not
mad,
as
dude.
who's she?
Makes me so mad.
Roxy. Not as Roxy, but we love you.
So,
Right your ass off.
let's go to the next question. What are some goals and dreams that you have as an actor?
You know what?
Yes.
What you said? What?
To
take over the world.
I just
You said that's a
if I
win.
can possibly be have an EGOT or be an EGOT.
Hey, Mitchell, yeah.
I just want to continue to grow. You know, like Meryl Streep, I'm like, she's gotten all these Oscars, and to me, that type of stuff doesn't matter to me. As long as I'm growing and I can see growth in my work,
I feel you.
that's legitimately the most important thing to me. And I never want to go into a process not being directable, if that makes sense. And I legitimately would love to always go in there and open up myself, and I would like the space to be free to open up myself and to be able to just let it all out. And for somebody to reel me back in who understands the
Amen.
structure of what I'm
Yes.
doing. And I think that my goals are, you know, one thing I always say, nature.
Demon
One
on
thing I
nature.
always say
Demon
is that
on- demon.
I legitimately just want to be happy. I want to be happy, and no matter what I'm doing, I don't. This is not a profession that consumes me, and I don't ever want it to consume me in that capacity. I legitimately just want to be happy. Now, I love what I do, and I want to excel above and beyond in this profession, but I also do not want it to consume me in the way that there is no other outlet. If I don't get to do it, then I'm going to be unhappy. So, that, you know, that's my spiel, as the Jews would say.
I want to, like you said, of course, he got status. Like, oh, everybody, being truthful, everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. And there's nothing wrong with going in there. There's nothing wrong with going to the Oscar. There's nothing wrong with going to the Tony. There's nothing wrong with that. But one thing I really want to do is make sure. Okay, Train. We're going to be coming through.
Trying to talk over it.
All right, I know I'm talking about this Train. All right. Anyway, but one thing I really want to do is do things that touch people. I want to touch people. So everything that I do.
Yes.
I had an example of there's a guy when I was in college we did Rent, and I didn't know he was in the audience, but he came and saw the show, and later on, I think maybe like a year or two later, he was in the program at my university. Didn't know he was in the audience, but he pulled me and one of my other classmates to the side and was like, you know, the reason why I picked State is because I came to the show and I saw you in the show and I saw her in the show, and y'all two really made me want to come here, hone in on my craft and do so things like that for somebody to tell you, hey, by you living in what you love to do, you gave me the permission to do what it is I want to do. To be able to live in what I want in my craft, to make this my career and to do this for the rest of my life. And I want to do things like that because I look at people that I look up to, people that have done TV shows that I still cannot convince myself are TV shows. I believe that they're real. You know, I still believe Claire, Cliff, and Mary. You know, off in the sunset. But like things, we gonna go there. We gonna go there. But things like that. People that make music that lasts forever, that make movies that last forever, that write books that last forever. You know, I would be remiss if I didn't speak her name today. We lost the great Toni Morrison. You know,
Rest in peace, Toni.
Like people that create works that outlive them, generations and generations and generations to come. Like that's what I want to do. I want to be able to do things and be a part of things that change people's world. If I can't change the world, I want to change somebody's world.
Alright, so literally both what y'all said resonated with me so deep, dude. It's because I actually thought that Grammys or you know, Tonys, Oscars, all that was end all be all. But if I know that I'm doing work and I'm earning what I'm doing, it does not matter like if I get an award or not. That's like the same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio. Dude. That nigga. Okay. That guy literally murders what the fuck he does, and the fact that he's not gotten an Oscar until like recently, it's baffling. But he knows that he does good work, and I think that's the biggest thing. That as long as you know that you're doing work, regardless of an award that you get, any of that shit, it does not matter because you know that you're touching souls. The end goal for me is to be on a TV series or a major film, any of that, you know what I mean? And exactly. Ironically, you just said manifesting. I was literally talking to somebody about manifesting. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, so I'm meant to be here. I already know that I'm meant to be here. So, anyways, like that's I think that's the biggest thing. It is just knowing that you're doing what you love and that you're doing it well. And it does not matter if you get a fucking Tony or an Oscar or any of that shit. It does not matter.
I would prefer not to have that stuff until I have climbed a few steps.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Man.
I prefer not to have any of it until I have actually stepped up.
The thing about that is
that you earned it.
The thing about that is when you get it is when you're supposed to get it.
Precisely. As is anything.
Right. A lot of times we look at people and it's like, oh, how'd you get this? And this person they've been doing this, that, and third, and they didn't get that, but you came, it's your first move, it's your first move. when you get into the field, for whatever reason that is, and maybe they're not supposed to understand that reason, but as long as you understand that reason, that you got it.
It
but
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, and but you cannot allow yourself to live in between the claps.
Hey.
Because when they stop, what is your identity?
Exactly.
Who are you going to be when the clap stops?
Precisely.
We were talking. They right. If you cannot clap for yourself, the claps of other people don't really matter.
And you can tell people who only work for the class.
Yeah. And we were talking in undergrad. A lot of times, house sizes would dictate people's performances.
I hated that.
And one of our professors is like, you play at a small house the same way you would play
at a big house. It doesn't matter.
At a big house.
Do what you have to do.
Because they paid
Exactly.
They paid $72 for this ticket.
The person says your job is to be that role. And if you're not invested in that, if you're worried about what's happening outside,
come on, man.
You're not worried about what's happening on the stage.
You don't know who's in that audience. You don't know
who the fuck is watching.
Right. And not even in the sense of like for the next step. Like if there's a casting director, somebody big is gonna push you. It could be somebody who spent their last to get a seat. They got the seat at the back at the very top, coming because they need something. Exactly. Giving somebody permission to continue.
I literally performed the last days of Jesus Scary, dude. And it was a small house, and I was like, oh shit, we're not performing at Reynolds. And I kind of thought that in my head, but I was like, no, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do what the fuck I gotta do. You know what I mean? So I got out there, I just did what I did every fucking night. You know what I mean? It's like,
and it's the job, and I think that is humility, and that is the difference in somebody who knows what they're doing and they do it because they love it versus somebody who is looking for some reassurance.
Come on now,
looking for some security through the claps that they're getting. And I think that as long as that is continuous for them, they will continue to be happy in this profession. But once those claps stop and once all the others stop, they'll be lost. And those are the people you have to be careful of because they'll tend to step on your toes.
Exactly.
And you have to understand that there's nothing wrong with wanting to be applauded. I mean, you want to be appreciated for doing something. There's nothing wrong with that.
And there's a lot of work.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. You want to be just like in a relationship. You may not want somebody like in your personal romantic relationship or friendships or family. You may not want somebody to be on you all the time, but to appreciate me for what I've done for you, the work I put in to maintain this relationship. You want that every now and then. There's nothing wrong with that, but you cannot let that be a drug. If you don't get it, like you said, you do anything to get it, and you overdose on the claps, and now.
And then at that point, it becomes it's not personal, it's business.
It's not the end all be all.
And you look back after you've done everything you had to do, step on all these toes, and undercut all these people to get where you want to go. You look back and you have all this bloodshed and carnage behind you. And I've been told, and everybody has been told this. Be careful who you meet going up. Like you see going up, you're going to meet the same people you're going to see coming back down. And if you have nobody to go to, because everybody has these peaks and valleys, you're going to have a valley. Regardless of however bright your career may be. At one point, you're going to be on top of that mountain. But it's as sure as the sun rises and falls, somebody else's time is going to be on that mountain while you're in the valley. And you're going to need somebody to help you get back up to that next peak.
Hey,
you don't have nobody.
Rodney, stop it. Stop.
I'm going to preach now. I'm just saying. If you don't have nobody to cut everybody off, you're going to live your life in the darkness of the valley. And nobody's going to want to help you up there. Because we have to realize we are the people to help each other.
And the thing is, the whole thing about creatives, we all work together because we all move from different jobs. Like you're never just an actor.
Right, and you know, and the sad part about it is, as we were saying, there is nobody is higher than the next person. Now, a lot of the positions that we obtain are man-made. Yeah. So, executive, DP, all those. These are titles that are man-made, and they're also expendable. They can be here today, and they can be gone tomorrow. Yeah. And then, you know, like the Bible says, God is not a respecter of persons. So, for me, I have to stand in that light, and I have to say, you know, the doors that I walk through have been opened by God, and I have said that many, many times. And I said, and as long as I rely on that, I don't have to worry about, because there are a lot of people who get in bed with a lot of different people just because they want something to happen. Exactly. And, you know, I pray that I never get into that situation or that boat, or that I want something that bad. You know what I mean? Because going back to what you were saying, there is, every bridge has to be crossed once, more than once in your life. There is one bridge that you will cross at least twice in your life. Yeah. And if you burn those bridges, what are you going to do? Nothing.
be stranded. And one thing that I want people, especially every artist, to know is to never forget the struggle. Never forget the times where you were getting paid way less than what you thought you should have got paid.
Hey.
Never forget the times you did things for free, for a favor. Never forget the times where you didn't know where your next project was going to come from. Never forget that, because it's
Never forget when a time when somebody gave you a break.
exactly, because you're going to be in a position, just like I said, as the sun rises and falls, you're going to be in the position to help somebody else out. And there's going to be somebody in that same struggle you just got out of, needing you to pull them through. Do not forget, because struggles are not something that come once and never come again. They're gonna cry.
Hey, life is about peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
That's what-
And whatever,
ups
and you,
downs.
and it's knowing that whatever seeds you put in the ground, you're gonna
Yeah.
reap a harvest.
Yeah.
So whatever harvest you plant, that's the harvest you're gonna reap.
Yeah.
So you know, it is what it is. And I think that that's just something that we have to live by, knowing that whatever seeds we sow, this is what we're gonna reap when the time for the harvest to come in.
Man,
It's time to
man,
plow up your garden.
y'all are
And I
literally
think
preaching right now. Y'all are literally
that's and it's knowing that everything is going to work. It for those people who are out there in that lower areas, just knowing that everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. So you don't really have to stomp on nobody else's toes. Because what's for you is for you. Right? We're all different.
So
what you-
even on this, oh well, I was gonna say even on this stream, my last question was just like some advice that you would give people who are trying to come into this field. So
Well, I would say,
Valleys, y'all been giving some good advice so far.
and another thing, for those that do believe in the Lord, you know, everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe, but for those that do believe in the Lord, let Him lead. Get out of the way and let Him lead. Because I've tried to be the person leading, and I've been stuck because I didn't know where I was going. And the minute I stepped aside,
now.
the minute I stepped aside, God showed me things. That there's a song, if you would only trust me. And see, God is not somebody that's going to be forceful and make you think, although He can. But
He gives
He's
us
not
free will.
going to. He gives us free will. But the thing about it is, God is like, if you would only trust me enough with your career, with your life, there are things that I can take you to, that I can bring you through if you just let me do it.
And I think that not even for us, but that goes for so many people, the people that watch this. You know what I'm saying? It's like y'all feel like y'all are in a dark place now. Come on, man, just stick it out. Like shit happens. Shit happens for a reason. You need to be there to be humbled, and then when you're humbled, you can come.
God put you in them places somewhere you have to go.
Exactly.
And then, you know, the thing about it is, though, too, and one thing that I asked my sister, my friend, not my sister, she's like a sister, she was telling me, and this kind of veers off the topic a little bit, but I'll get it back. She was saying something about a particular guy and different whatnots and stuff like that. And so I asked her, so what have you been playing and asking God for? What kind of man you been playing and asking God for? And she said, one that's going to love my child, one that's going to be supportive, one that's going to be your and I said, okay, so in that I never heard I never heard you say anything about physicality. What he looks like. I said, but you didn't pray and ask about that. So you have to be specific with God, and you have to know exactly what you want. And one thing, the thing that I have to go back and say to that, and for anybody getting this profession, it's a profession where you have to have some tough skin, and you have to be happy. Let me tell you something. Whatever you have to do, you have to find the time to make sure that you are happy and you are taken care of. Taking care of. Somebody say it.
Taking care of.
Thank you. Making sure you are taken care of. Because you cannot rely on mankind to do that for you, because we are all broken. We are all broken.
Yo, hey,
and there's nobody. There's
Please.
Nobody that is perfect. The definition of perfect is to be complete. And somebody said that one time, and I said, so if you are complete, then your journey on this earth is done.
Come on now.
So, and I said that to say, you have to understand that we are all taking strides forward to get to where we need to get. And the Bible says, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. One another thing that I have to say, and this goes for the realm of life that we live in, you have to be communicating. If I said that right, you have to communicate with people with everything that you are doing. in this profession, how you feeling. I don't care if you come to me and say, you know what, I was a little jealous about this and blah, 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 and it's okay. It's going to be okay. There's nothing wrong with being in a dark place, and there's nothing wrong with being at the bottom. The problem is staying there and allowing somebody to tell you that you have to stay there. You legitimately have to work your way out of that. And there are so many people around you that will help you. Of course, prayer.
You have to open your eyes.
You have to understand that there are people in your corner, in your circle, that are probably going through the same thing that you are going through.
And the best thing that you can do as an artist, especially getting into acting, anything, any outreach of artistry, whether music and painting, is allow yourself to feel. Wherever you are in that moment, allow yourself to feel it all. It's not going to feel good. Then you're going to be in some dark places. Sometimes you're going to be in dark places longer than you think you should have. But every single moment, allow yourself to feel. Because one thing is, artists, we're able to capitalize off of our misfortune. We're able to be in this dark area for how many years, how many months, whatever we're going through, to get to a place where you come to a role, come to a moment, and you can pull from that heartbreak. You can pull from that bout of depression. You can know what it feels like to be in the clutches of anxiety, not knowing when you're going to be able to get out. You can feel that hopelessness, that character's because you felt it in your life, and you bring it, and that's how you can tell the Felicia Rashads, the Viola Davises, the Denzel Washingtons from the others, you know, because they bring a sense of honesty of, hey, I've been here, and I'm not playing at a character. We would talk being in theater because you're not acting at a character, you're becoming that character, and that character is where the character you put on stage is where you and the character meet. You find that common ground. What do we have in common? Where have I been that mirrors where this character has been? What can I bring from my life into this character, and what can I take from with this character? What kind of strength can I take where I was weak? What kind of hope can I take where I was hopeless? How can I get to the next moment, but still remember years ago what it felt like? Because it's not, like I said before, it's not going to feel good, but it's going to feel good later. A professor taught me that it's going to hurt, but it's going to hurt so good, because you're going to remember what it felt like, but you're not there anymore. So you can feel that, and then use that, and then smile like, I remember, but I'm not there.
And piggybacking off of what you said, I feel like, well, again, piggybacking off of what both of y'all said, I feel like humans try to recreate God, right? Can't do that.
I think a lot of humans want to be God. Yeah.
And you cannot do that. And like you said, we are all broken, right? And I think in us being shattered and broken, we're trying to find people that can do us. We can't create God by ourselves. We have to find somebody that matches us, that completes us, in that we are who we are. That's who we're meant to be.
You know, and for me to close out, what I have to say, have fun. Yeah. Have fun. And, you know, and I also want to say, make sure you get an understanding. Out of all you're getting, get an understanding. And I think that is the best way that you will excel in this profession, as you said a minute ago. Understanding that everybody's broken. Understanding that everybody has a story to tell. Understanding that however you have to use whatever you went through to become a character, or whatever it is, or however you want to do it, whatever you have to do, you just have to understand. And understand that you're a work in progress, and it's going to take some time. And, you know, just have fun. My encouragement is to have fun, because it's a very rejuvenating profession. And it will yield so much to you as long as you allow whoever you choose, whether it's the nature, Mother Nature, God, whatever you choose to lead your life, if you allow them to lead it for you and you don't try to be in control of that, I think that you will have fun and you will excel beyond your biggest dreams and goals, and, you know, beyond whatever you ever saw that yourself excelling to. You know what I mean? And I think that's just realize that there are people put in place to help you out. And if you are believing God, build a relationship with them. Yes. I think build a relationship with God, build a relationship with Mother Nature. Whatever. There's many different believers out there, and I don't want to insult anybody. So whatever you do, you just have to build a relationship with them. That way that you know how to move forward. You let them guide your life.
I think, and this is, I feel like
when you don't know where you're going.
I feel like this is kind of off topic, but I feel like the actors that say that when they're performing a kind of like a not necessarily gut-wrenching role, but one that's emotionally unstable, and the fact they say that I guess that they're hurt from doing it. You know what I mean? Like I think you see a therapist and shit. I think that's bullshit. I honestly believe that's bullshit, and the reason that I say that is because, as we said, we are broken. There's no way that if you're playing a character that you get more broken than we are.
I don't know about that.
That's how I feel.
I mean, that's in your feeling. I don't know about that. I think, listen to you have Munchausen disease, hypochondriac.
Oh yeah, valid.
They look for that type of stuff. So of course it will affect them in a different way. And I think there are some people who don't know how to. Because let me tell you something. There is a difference when you understand that you're broken and when you don't know that you're broken. And we run into a lot of people in this life who do not know that they're broken.
You're right.
They have suppressed a lot of that and they don't. So when they do take on something that triggers a lot of that stuff, so the things that you feel like you dealt with that you only suppress, they start to come into pass because you got to deal with it all because it's not normal.
Thank you.
Also, you got to think about, like, for instance, August Wilson, all of his plays, more than likely, I don't want to say this wrong, but they come from real people, in real places. Starletta Dubois, I think that's her. I can't remember her last name, but she was in the Friday movie and stuff like that. She did film lessons with what's his name? I cannot think his name, but she did it, and she played Benita. And she said how, like, after every show, the character, the guy that played Walter Lieber has to, like, grab her and shake her because acting is a very spiritual thing. It's very spiritual, and you have to be careful, especially when you okay, train. There you go. I'm right. When you're acting, see, even the trains agree. When you're taking on a project like that, that's spiritual, like that, with the right of rights that in there, because sometimes those characters get on you, and if you don't know how to let them go, they'll stay with you. And trying to figure out what's going on. It's a very spiritual thing.
Who was it that Heath Ledger, before he did the Joker, and he told him, he said, be careful with the
It was
because it's very
it was
The guy that played Pennywise had to go into therapy after they shot the first Nicholas, because he was like he had to go.
No,
to
it wasn't. It was
dark places.
It was the previous Joker before him. Yeah, because every yes, not Tommy Lee. No, he's always at the Lakers game with the glasses on, right?
Well, too bad. We'll have to come into it.
I don't know.
We'll have to come into it.
But one thing I want to say that Terrance said is honesty too. That's big. I think you touched on that too. Honesty. Be honest with yourself first and foremost. Get yourself in the mirror and take all the masks and all the things off. Be honest with yourself. What you don't like, what you love, what you want to change, what you don't want to change. Be honest with yourself. Recognize your broken pieces because there's a simple quote. I saw it on the internet, but it hits me spiritually every time I come across it. Somebody said that broken crayons still color. No matter how broke up they are, pick a broken crayon, they still color. So there is no shame in being broken. The shame is in realizing that you're broken and wanting to hide that, because when you do that, you're willingly hurting other people that you come in contact with.
Pride cometh before a fall.
It sure does. So be honest with yourself and tell the truth to yourself first.
I think it's mending those broken pieces. Mending those broken pieces together. They in that.
And you have to know how. See, like the scripture that I said a minute ago, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. You gotta know how to fix those broken pieces, and some of them you just don't know how.
Because somebody may have the answer. Somebody may have the answer. There are people that have gone through things that you currently in that may have they're different, but they may have the answer.
But it's simple.
But let me tell you something. Anytime trials and tribulations become someone's testimony, and it's a testimony for a reason, because it's to encourage somebody else who's going through that storm in the moment, and say, well, you made it out, so can I. I can make it out too.
Y'all, okay. We gotta move on. Y'all just...
Well, I think that it's very good that y'all touched into being broken, like mental health issues and everything like that as actors, because that's something that we don't talk about a lot in that profession. And you know, black people in our community in general don't really touch into that a lot. But that is a good thing to, well, yeah, at all. But I think that is a good thing to think about when going into like any kind of artist like profession, any creative profession, because you can get turned so much. You have to have testimony. So I think that's something that y'all gave a lot of great advice. But also, they said they're in a musical, and y'all sang. Y'all gonna sing a little something before we go out? He said y'all gonna do that?
I mean,
Hey, well, come see Choir Boy, August 23rd.
Yes, August 23rd, BFT, 85 points. Go to BFT.org to get those tickets if you would like to come. I'm not sure if that's the right thing, but you can hit me up at Daisean Garrett on Facebook to find that information out, because it is on there. I've shared the link multiple times, or you can just DM me and I will get you the link. But yes, it runs August 23rd through the 25th.
yes.
We're currently in rehearsals right now, twice on Saturdays and Sunday. We open on Fridays, it's all open on Thursday. Yes, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. Come out if you want to get a glimpse of all this stuff that we have talked about with you tonight. We're going to leave it all on the stage. We're going to put it there. We're going to leave it there, and we're going to leave it with you, and we're going to let you guys take over that and handle that. And yes, we would love to see you out there. And come up to us if you do decide to come, and give us a hug after the show, because we would love to see you and know that you came, know that you heard us.
Just let me know first, you know. Don't just walk up to me. There's a lot going on in the world. Just say, hey, you know, a whole lot going on. I love you.
All right. Okay.
I'm a hugger. But just let me know. Praise the Lord.
Great. So, you know, go check all of these wonderful actors out and check us out for our next episode of Spotlight.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.